Hello, everyone. This is Kaizen Base. Mr. Kai, the theme this time is 3-GAM principle, 5-GAM principle, right?
In Kaizen activities, it is indispensable to proceed with 3-GAM principle and 5-GAM principle, not the armchair theory. This time, we will learn about the meaning and way of thinking of 3-GAM principle and 5-GAM principle.
So, let's get started with the lecture.
Now, Neil, let's check on 3-GAM principle and 5-GAM principle today. First of all, can you explain 3-GAM principle?
Yes, I can. 3-GAM principle refers to the way of thinking to proceed Kaizen by valuing the 3 actual GAM of the actual place, the actual part, and the actual situation. It is to go to the actual place, to take the actual part, and to check the actual situation steadily. Don't try to get things done just by imagining without leaving our desk. We can't know what's happening at the actual place without going to the actual place. If we think it's a hassle and proceed only with experience and intuition, we may miss important facts. It is very important to always remember 3-GAM principle.
Oh, fantastic! Your explanation is 100%. 3-GAM principle is a matter of course, and an easy-to-understand idea. However, in reality, it tends to be neglectful. In particular, the more experienced you are, the more knowledge you have accumulated. So even if a problem occurs, you may decide without looking at the actual place just by listening to the situation a little. It would be nice if your judgment is correct, but many unexpected things can happen. As a result, it is common for the problem solving to be delayed.
I kind of understand. When we are experienced, we tend to make a judgment on the assumption. I have to be careful too. Hello? Yes, what? The line stopped? Ah, it's probably the sensor failure. Yes, the same thing happened before. Yes. Thank you. Mr. Kai, I'm sorry, it seems the line stopped, but it seems to be okay. Let's continue.
Neil, you said it's the sensor failure. Is it the fact?
No, I just assumed.
What are we learning right now?
3-GAM principle. 3-GAM principle. I'll go check at the actual place.
You're back. How was it?
Yeah, it wasn't the sensor failure, it was an operator error. I was about to make them replace the sensor, which was meaningless. 3-GAM principle is important.
Yes, I'm glad you understood the importance of 3-GAM principle. 3-GAM principle is a necessary attitude to eliminate the assumption.
Yes, I will keep it in mind.
Next, let's check 5-GAM principle. Can you explain 5-GAM principle as well?
No, actually, it's the first time I heard 5-GAM principle. There are 2 more actual GAM. What are they?
What do you think they are?
Actual status? Actual cause? Actual limit?
Unfortunately, they are all wrong. Let me explain. 5-GAM principle is the additional 2 GAMs to 3-GAM principle. The Gamri and Gensuku. Do you know what the Gamri is?
Are they like a physical mechanism?
Yes. Gamri is the fundamental principles are the original theory and the mechanism that makes it. In other words, they're the rules that consist things. Then, what are the Gensoku?
Are they like basic rules?
Exactly. The basic rules are conditions that apply in many cases and rules and regulations. In 5-GAM principle, having the perspective of feeling of facing problems using 3-GAM principle, it is important to see whether there is any deviation from Gamri, the fundamental principles, and whether there is anything different happening from the Genso to the basic rules. Only with the approach of problem solving using 5-GAM principle, you can take fundamental measures that are useful at the shop floor. At work, if things don't make progress according to the fundamental principles and basic rules, you can't generate value added. It is necessary to repeat the process of thinking based on the fundamental principles and basic rules, develop problem-solving skills, and generate value added.
I see. It is a matter of course to work using 3GAM principle. In addition to that, it is important to judge things based on the fundamental principles and basic rules.
That's right. Whenever you receive a report from the actual place that there is a defective product, it is necessary to check the product based on 3GAM principle and clarify the problem based on the fundamental principles and basic rules. Also, when the data acquired at the shop floor shows a tendency different from usual, be sure to check the situation that is actually occurring using 3GAM principle and investigate whether there is any deviation from the fundamental principles and basic rules. And when working on quality improvement themes, it is necessary not only to discuss on the desk using only past experience and data, but also to tackle for solutions based on 5GAM principle.
Looking back on my daily behaviors, I may not always be using 3GAM principle and 5GAM principle. I would like to be careful from now.
Yes, I think it's very important to take a close look at your behavior and immediately perform Kaizen if it's not enough.
Now, let's make a summary of today's lecture. 3GAM principle is a way of thinking to proceed with Kaizen by valuing the 3GAM of the Gamba actual place, Gambitsu the actual part, Gamjitsu and the actual situation. 5GAM principle is a way of thinking to add the fundamental principles, which are the original theory, Gamri and the basic rules, which are the rules and regulations of things, Gamsoku in addition to 3GAM principle. It's important to face things using 3GAM principle and to judge things based on the fundamental principles and basic rules. That's all about today's lecture. So, see you at the next theme.